I think we were wrong when we thought that Israel, Gaza, and Russia, Ukraine were the only war happening around. And next year, or should I say 2026, would be something very much different and peaceful and all of that. At the beginning and start of 2026, President Donald Trump abducted the Venezuela's president, and not just that, his wife as well, from their own mansion to New York. Not just that, after all of this, he has almost disrupted the entire ecosystem out there in the world right now, because everybody is in the war zone. You understand, Venezuela has allies like China, Russia, North Korea. They are good friends of Maduro. And uh, here with US we have Western organization and everything. So it is almost looking like a cold war happening once again, and a fight for an ideology, a fight for oil barrels, a fight for rights, and a fight for what is legal and illegal on the international surfaces. Now, there are some things which I want to tell you right now, that how this war can create another cold war coming up right there. You see, both most of the countries, those who are in support of Venezuela, are communist countries. And not just that, these countries have been so much in anger right now, so much in a way that they are going to suppress the Western culture and the Western supremacy like anything. Till last year, we have heard that how BRIC organizations and BRIC countries have been trying enough to reduce the dependency of dollar, and these BRICS countries like Brazil, Russia, China, India, all of them wanted to trade in their own currency, and that is why US President Donald Trump was also so much furious. But now that President Donald Trump has abducted one of these countries' friend, Maduro, Nicolas Maduro, now these countries have been in so much aggression that China has almost come up with a mission. They have launched their mission on which they are on the sea. And not just that, they have been coming up with this whole thing that now we have been protecting our oil barrels. And if in the US would not release Maduro, they are going to actually come up with some action or the other against US President Donald Trump. Not just that, coming on North Korea, they have also warned US President Donald Trump. They have said that Nicolas Maduro was our good friend and we want a release of them. And not just that, he also said that if US President Donald Trump won't agree with this whole fact, there can be a war happening. You see, these countries are gearing up. Not just that, another country, Russia, has also come up with this whole thing where they have supported Maduro and calling out US President Donald Trump. But in this whole while, there is one country which is quite on this whole matter and has to speak, that is none other than India. You need to understand this one thing: India will another time be on a par that where they have to answer on this whole question, that whose side are you taking. Basically, India has always focused on this one thing, that they will be at a peace area, that they're going to be in the middle and they're going to be the negotiator between two countries and everything. But this time they need to understand, because US president has done something so illegal on the international forum, that none of these countries, China, North Korea, are going to release him, or should I say are going to forgive US President Donald Trump. Not just that, Iran, Iraq, all of these countries are in so much anger against US right now, that these countries would actually line up together. And if China wants a war, there could be a war. Although if you practically speak, these countries are not somebody who would go for a war upfrontly. But after what US has done, talking about peace on 1st of January, then attacking on 3rd of January, we cannot really come up with any conclusion what can happen and what not can happen. We have still one war going on between Russia and Ukraine. The other hand, we also have Thailand and Cambodia. So all of these wars are happening just side by side, all just nearby to us. But this, if this war happens, it is going to affect India in so many manners that we can't even tell you. Basically, India has been believing on this fact of keeping a friendship with all of them and then doing whatever they feel like. That is known as multipolarism. That is what India has been focusing till now. But in this whole war, there has to be an ideological side. When the Cold War happened in in that late 90s. Then at that point of time, India did not take any such stand. India was at peace. Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru wanted, former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru wanted to come up with a peace and not take one side. But that India and this India is different. That India does not have a lot of allies. That India was just falling under the region of communist. But this time, India has allies like Russia, North Korea, then China, and he cannot actually afford right now to let down these countries and go with Western countries after what US President Donald Trump has done to India. Now that India is already on a verge of 50% tariff, the only friend who was standing all through this entire time was Russia with India, and their friendship has been gearing up like anything. But if this all war happens, and if Russia wants India to take certain step and everything, and what if PM Narendra Modi refuses that you are going to do whatever it feels right for the India, then it could be an ideological difference, and it can also pave a way where India could bear losses. So basically, India is in the middle road, and we could only wish the war does not happen, and Venezuelan president could be released from Donald Trump, because right now we already have pressure from Donald Trump in terms of buying oil and tariffs. Now this whole war from China and North Korea versus US could be a big issue for all of us right now. So let's just pray nothing or nothing as such happens, and there could be no war this year. But sources and reports are not going as we pray. So let's just see what happens. That's all for today. If you like such geopolitical scoop, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, Global Shark. This was Shivi Chitranshi signing off. And also, do not forget to hit the bell icon. Thank you so much. And also, if you are looking up for Venezuela's whole war, whichever is happening, and ideological differences and everything, please visit our channel. Thank you so much.